In this video, we're going to learn about the different forms that the conditional statement can take. They are known as the converse, the inverse, and the contrapositive. We start with our conditional if P then Q. Remember that P is called your antecedent or your hypothesis, and Q is called your consequent or your conclusion. So the first thing that we can do with if P then Q is we can actually just flip it around and switch the hypothesis and the conclusion. This is called the converse, and as you can see, all we did was flip around Q and P to get if Q then P. So that's our first option. The second one is we could take our original conditional P and then Q, and we could actually go ahead and negate them. This gives us our inverse. We negated P, we negated Q, but we kept their order the same, and so we get if not P, then not Q. The last option we have is to not only negate them, but to also flip them. This gives us our contrapositive. As you can see, we have not only negated P and Q, but we have switched their order so that we end up with if not Q, then not P. So let's just look at a quick example and we can understand what's going on here. We take the statement, if it is cold, then it is rainy. P is the statement, it is cold. Q is the statement, it is rainy, and this is our conditional. In order to come up with the converse, what we need to do is switch our hypothesis and our conclusion. So if we switch it is rainy and it is cold, we get the converse, which is if it is rainy, then it is cold. And that's the converse of our original statement. The other option is that we can start with if it is cold, then it is rainy, and we can negate both the hypothesis and the conclusion in order to get the inverse. In doing so, we would need to negate it is cold to it is not cold, and we would need to negate it is rainy to it is not rainy in order to get the inverse of our original statement, which is if it is not cold, then it is not rainy. Last, we look at the contrapositive, where again we negate both the hypothesis and the conclusion, and we switch around their order. Here we get if it is not rainy, then it is not cold, and that gives us the contrapositive. The hardest part really is just remembering which is which. You have to memorize that the converse flips them, the inverse negates them, and the contrapositive flips and negates them. Otherwise, you're just using your negations and your conditional in order to get what you want.